Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're taking a look at another premium Bandai HG kit here from HG Build Divers Re-Rise. This is the Eldora Daughtress. This is another one that really sucks to be P-Bandai because there is no other regular HG Daughtress kits. So here we have like the Build Divers version of this, the Eldora Daughtress, but the regular Daughtress, still no kits. So unfortunately we have to live with that for the time being. Hopefully they'll come out with just a regular HG Daughtress kit in the near future because, I mean, they kind of already sort of made most of it here, right? So this is an entirely new kit, but take a look at this box. It is a super thin box here, so there's not a whole lot of kit in here, but as you can see, it's just the Daughtress here, and it has this really cool weapon, which really reminds me of like a weapon made out of the backpack of a Crossbone Gundam. So if you kind of see that, we'll see it here in a moment when we take a look at the kit once it's all built up and everything. But there's a simple box art here, just with it being a P-Bandai kit. There's not a whole lot to look at there, it's just in monochrome. As always, guys, big thank you to USA Gundam Store for their support. If you want to check out the available P-Bandai items there in store and everything else in the store, you can save 10% off everything there using my coupon code ZakuAurelius10. So check the link and the coupon code in the video description there down below. So taking a look around the outside of the box, there's not going to be too much here to look at. With it being a P-Bandai box, we just have kind of the same thing on the ends and then the name down here at the bottom there like that. So let's just crack it open here. And like I said, not going to be a whole lot inside. We can see we have some foil stickers, a couple of runners, looks like 3 like full runners, one smaller runner, and then polycaps, and that's going to be about it. So here is the manual. You can see the box art there in color. Now it's not going to be too colorful. It's mostly gray, and then it has some purple beams, but obviously we don't have like actual parts for those. It's got some purple for the cameras though, but I'm guessing once again that's just going to be foil stickers, in this case with it being an HG kit, of course. Down here you have a look at just the artwork for the mobile suit. It does look pretty cool. It's got the whole claw thing going on there at the feet, and just a really cool unique head there. Obviously very unique style of head, sort of bug-like, not quite as bug-like as some of the stuff like from Victory, but it's, yeah, very unique. So we do have some information here as well in Japanese and English, so it's like a kind of full normal release manual here for a P-Bandai kit, as we can see. So information there about the mobile suit, about a Hitotsume unit, and then down here about the story missions. So you have all that in Japanese and in English. On the back we have some information here about the mobile suits, customized plan. It says based off of the Daughtress, which we don't have an actual kit for. The multiple barrel rifle, so that's what it's got there. So it can kind of close up like that as one thing, which almost looks like a sort of a missile launcher sort of thing, but then it opens up like that. And so yeah, I think that just reminds me of like the Crossbones backpack there. But the shield is kind of very simple, plain, and I'm sure that's going to be a foil sticker there for that, I would expect, just with it being HG kit again. And then here it is with the Eldora Brute kit there, which we previously took a look at, so that was a pretty cool kit as well. Down here for the color guide, we just got that in Japanese and English, mostly just different tones of gray, a little bit of purple, a little bit of red, and that is pretty much it. Where's the red? Oh, I guess if you look up really close there on the sensor unit on the head, it's got a little tiny bit of red there. I guess that's going to be about it. Alright, on to the parts list. There we can see we're going to be using everything there. I'm assuming the runners are going to be marked as just a Daughtress, so we'll see that here in a moment, but just the construction looks pretty standard here for an HG kit, pretty simple. We got some color pages here at the back. We're finishing the construction and then moving on to the weapons. Again, that weapon does look pretty cool. It is going to have some hollow spaces inside there, it looks like, and then the shield is just going to be just a couple parts there. We do have some stickers there for that as well, looks like. So, alright, let's get a look at the runners. Alright, so there's the foil sticker sheet. I'm actually surprised to see some little red foil stickers on there for that tiny little bit of red on the head, but those are there, as well as just the stickers for the shield and like the eye cameras. It's got on there a couple of commemorative stickers, a couple little gray stickers for some missing color apps, it looks like maybe, and then the black lining stickers for the shield as well, so you'll have those as well as the big purple one. Then we got PC002 for our standard polycap runner here in gray. And then runner A here is also in a dark, maybe slightly bluish, kind of purplish gray as well here. And this runner, surprisingly, is actually marked HD 1/44 scale Eldora Daughtress. It's not marked just plain Daughtress. It is actually marked for just the Eldora Daughtress, but you can see there's a bunch of our armor parts there. Runner B here as well, marked for the Eldora Daughtress specifically. And then we've got all of our gray parts. It's kind of like that typical kind of brownish gray color we see for a lot of joint parts and hand parts and things like that. And then for our lighter color armor parts here, in once again a slightly purplish kind of light gray color here, we've got runner C1, this one as well marked for the Eldora Daughtress, and we have C2 as well for a copy of this section of the runner here. So I gotta say, I'm honestly surprised that these runners aren't just marked as Daughtress and then they have like the extra parts added on for the Eldora version. But hey, anyway, so that's what the runners look like for now. Let's see what it looks like when it's all built up. Alright, so here is how it comes together, and it looks pretty cool. It looks really nice, and although the construction is super simple, it actually feels really solid, and I don't really know why I was surprised that this was going to be a very simple build, why it was surprising to me how simple this was going to be, just because I, for some reason, didn't really think about this, or I didn't really think too much about it, and that the fact that this is just another kit in the line like the HG Leo and the HG Maganok and the HG Death Army kits, where Bandai is doing these alternate universe grunt suits in very simple but solid construction for them. So even though this is a P-Bandai, it feels very much in the same line as those kits, where they're super simple in their construction, but pretty solid. They do tend to be a little seam line heavy, but again, that just kind of goes to the simplicity of the build. If you built those kits, you know what those are like. This seems pretty much exactly in line with those. So we'll go over all the details and articulation, all that here in a minute. Just also want to say how much I like just the fact that this is a very interesting and different design as well. I mean, it still kind of has a lot of the similar, or just kind of normal aspects in there, but just like some of the other details are just very unique. Obviously, the head is very unique on this. The feet and like the chest, and like the chest kind of forming into the backpack all kind of in one thing all together there. It's just a very interesting design. So it's always nice to build something that's unique. So let's just start off with the foil stickers, because this kit does have quite a lot of them, but they're almost entirely all here on the head. The rest of the body is nothing in the way of stickers. It's just all here on the head and then a little bit on the weapons. We'll see in a minute here. But so you have a gray sticker there on the chin, these gray stickers on the side of the head, the little red stickers there on the side of the head, and of course the stickers there for like the 3 big purple eyes, which, I mean, the stickers look alright on there. I mean, nobody really likes stickers on a kit, but if you aren't planning on painting the kit, I think these stickers do actually look pretty nice, especially the big purple ones there for the eyes. I mean, they seem to work well enough, I'd say. As far as the seam lines, they're pretty much everywhere where you'd expect. On the top of the shoulders, you've got seam lines there. On the side of the arms, you got seam lines there. And on the side of the torso there, under the armpit, and here on the top of the torso there, if you want to count that as a seam line, I mean, I don't know, it kind of could go either way, whether you really wanted to do the work to remove that seam line or not, but it's not too bad. And the head doesn't have any seam lines on that, really, just because of the unique design of the head. Then the parts go together in a way that doesn't really create any seam lines. And also the thigh piece is one solid piece, so no seam line there. Then the legs actually go together in a way that hide the seam lines as well. So I guess the seam lines is not really too bad. I guess you do have the one inside the vent there, which kind of sucks. They couldn't design that to kind of go around the inside of the vent so that it didn't go straight through the middle. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty alright. I mean, just the one here in the arms and up on the shoulders would be kind of the main ones, I think, for this. So not really as bad as I guess maybe I was thinking. But just as for the color separation in general, I think it definitely could use some paint, because I mean, you have all like these little vents here on the shoulders, the front skirts, the front vents there, and then here on the legs. I think just painting those in, it's going to help break up this, because it's pretty monotonous in its colors. You just have the 2 tones there basically. You have a lot of colors here on the head, which looks nice, but then the rest of the body just looks very plain without anything breaking up some of those colors a bit. So definitely could use some paint. But let's go into the articulation here, talk a little bit about that. So the head is just kind of on your basic ball joint, so you'll be able to move that up and down a little bit, and it's actually quite limited, again, just because the ball joint sits up way up inside the head there. So it's kind of even more limited than just a normal, just regular ball and socket polycap ball joint there, just because the polycap connection is so up far inside the head, so you can't really move it that far forward and back at all, really, just a little bit like that. In the torso, you do have a little bit of a stomach crunch here, forward and back. It's not too bad, just a little bit there. You have some rotation here, of course, as well. The shoulder will move forward and back just a little bit. It's just on a ball joint there for that polycap in the shoulder, and typically that shoulder joint is the kind of that swings forward, but this one actually swings up. So that will move up all the way to about there, which is a pretty nice upward movement there for the arm, so that's good. And then just the arm rotates there at the top, and then you have a bend there at the elbow is going to give you a little bit more than 90 degrees, so a fairly decent bend there at the elbow. The hand's just on a ball joint as usual. The front skirts are attached together, but those can move up all the way up out of the way, so no problems with those. The side skirts will also move a little bit. They're very basic, and as you can see, we do have a hard point here on the side skirt, and that's not used for anything for this kit, so maybe an indicator of what could be coming with just a regular Daughtress kit in the future. The back skirt also, nothing moves there, it's just fixed, and again the backpack is just kind of like part of the torso, so that's like nothing really moving on there either. As for the hip joint, it doesn't really do anything special. It does, in theory, swing side to side, but it doesn't really do it all that much or all that well. Basically, we have some rotation there at the top of the leg, and outward movement of the legs, it looks like it's not going to be too much of a problem there with these side skirts being pretty small, and then forward movement also with just the front skirt being able to move so far up out of the way. You're not really going to have too much of a problem getting that leg all the way up to the front like that. And then our double joint there in the knee is going to give you a fairly decent bend, but actually not as much as you might expect for a nice double jointed knee. It's just a little bit more than 90 degrees basically. For this ankle armor here, it's actually attached at the back of the leg, so that'll move a little bit, but it's pretty much just kind of suspended, floating there just between the leg and the foot. Foot itself will move forward to there, down to there, just a little bit forward and back movement, and also side to side just a little bit, not really a whole lot there. Up underneath the feet, again, just some very interesting detail here with these bits and just the nice vent detail there on the bottom of the foot, so I mean, it looks good. For his accessories, we've only got two of them, the first one being just this very simple shield, but the simplicity of the shield is certainly broken up very well by these stickers on here, and yes, again, it is stickers. It's actually 4 stickers. The black lines is 2 separate stickers there. The black line around the center is a 3rd sticker, and then the actual purple part is a 4th sticker on that, so it takes a little while, but get them on there, and again, I think they do actually look quite nice on there as far as stickers go. On the back, this connection is just 2 pieces. It's a simple connection into the side of the arm, and then this handle here, which you can use or not use. It's not really necessary, but you can put that there in the hand. And speaking of hand options, of course, as you might expect, with this being so simple, these 2 holding hands are the only hand options we have for this, so again, that just fits down there into the hand, pop it onto the arm, and there you go, simple enough. There that is. And then of course the multiple barrel rifle. Now this part also has a sticker here for the lens there for that. No stickers here at the end of the rifle though. If we take a look back here at the manual, you see that's supposed to have little purple circles there at the end, so it's really surprising that we got stickers for this. We got all these other little purple stickers, and no purple stickers here for the ends of the rifle. So very strange. I'm not really sure why Bandai didn't include those, but so just getting some purple marker or something, I don't know, whatever you guys might want to do to paint that in. Obviously, if you're trying to go for accurate to make it look like this, it's going to have to be some sort of like metallic purple on there as well. But the rifle does look very cool. It's pretty simple in the handle. I mean, the back end of that is just kind of a couple pieces put together. And it's a little bit tricky to get this all lined up to be like totally closed up. And here at the end, you can see maybe that it's got those like little teeth there at the end, so that it kind of will lock the 4 pieces together at the end, but it's kind of tricky to get them all to stay together perfectly. So you might want to do a little bit of work to do that. But as you can see, we got basically 2 joints here and here at the end and at the middle, so you can move this around, move these around, and they've got some like kind of vent detail inside there, but ultimately like all this hollow space inside here. Some people may not be into it. I don't think it necessarily looks that bad, but opened up like that, it certainly has a really cool look to it. It's a very unique design for a weapon, that's for sure. We don't really have any weapon quite like this in any other kit, so I definitely like the fact that it's so unique. Now also, this kit doesn't come with any beam saber effect parts because it doesn't have any beam sabers, but you might be wondering if you could put a beam effect part in there. So I have a couple here, we'll try this. So this blue one is a 1/44 scale beam saber effect part, and if you put that in there, it fits, but it's loose, so it doesn't really fit in there very well. So you'll have that just like that. You could very easily just tighten up the end of that a little bit to make it so it's sticking in there straight. I think that could look pretty cool. If you wanted to go a little bit larger though with a 1/100 scale beam saber effect part, this is just, again, just a standard 1/100 scale one, and it doesn't fit in there, so you'd have to trim it down a little bit in order to get that to fit in there. But again, if you wanted to put a beam effect part in there, it's not going to fit in straight away, but very slight modification needed in order to make that fit. And then just for a quick comparison, here it is with your standard ARC 782 Gundam, where you can see it's just right about the same size as that, so it's your standard HG 1/44 scale size, and then also with the Eldora Brute there, of course, just because they need to go together. Also, one thing you'll notice about the beam rifle there for this is that it's quite long, and when you're just in a standing pose like that, it's going to be resting on the ground. You actually have to kind of put it out to the side or out to the front a little bit in order to just get this to be holding that. Otherwise, the length of that makes it actually kind of longer than the legs. So anyway. Alright guys, so again, just with this being a pretty simple kit, there's not really too much else I can say about it, except that, well, it's simple. I think it's pretty nice, actually. Now, as for the massive multi-barrel rifle, you don't really have any problems holding it up, because as I said earlier, that it's a really solid kit, actually. The only point that you have a little bit of trouble is at the wrist. While like the elbow joint, the shoulder joint are actually quite tight and solid, and can hold the weight without any problems at all. And the rifle doesn't weigh all that much either, actually, despite it being pretty large. But it will droop a little bit at the wrist, so you might want to just put a little glue or something on the ball joint of the hand before you pop that in there. Make sure it's dry, of course, before you put it in, and then that'll just help to keep the wrist joint nice and stiff as well, so that you won't have any drooping holding up the giant rifle for this. So other than that, I mean, the articulation is pretty good, and the seam lines really aren't that bad. I mean, the couple that it has are there, and you know, they're not that bad. And then actually the advantage that this does have over a lot of HG kits though too is that it doesn't really have much in the way of seam lines on the weapons either. I mean, obviously the shield, they're not going to have any seam lines on that, but on the beam rifle, the way that the rifle is designed as well, it's designed so that you don't really have much of a seam there either. So even though this is a P-Bandai kit, hopefully if you're buying this through aftermarket or through a proxy seller or something like that, you're not having to pay too much for it, because the original price for this was not that much, and so it shouldn't really cost you that much, even if you're having to pay a higher price for it. But if you're interested in it, I would say go ahead and go for it, because it's a really interesting kit for sure, and it's simple but fun, and I think it'll really look a lot better once it's all painted too. A little bit of love is all it's going to take to really make this kit look its best. And honestly, like I said, the stickers too, like especially the purple stickers on the shield and for the eyes, I think don't look all that bad either. So I mean, even if you're not going to paint it, those do really help to break up all the kind of muted bluish grays there on it. But if you guys do have any other further questions or comments about the kit, of course, feel free to let me know down below. Again, thank you to USA Gundam Store for their support, guys. Check the link to USA Gundam Store there down below and use my coupon code there, ZakuAurelius10. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.